My name is Jaden.
My name is Eli.
And we got Yahoo and the Torah YouTube channel. And this is Youth for Yah. So this is a series we're going to do with people that are younger, more of youth, people that are looking for people to learn Torah with at their age. So this will be a series for the younger people that want to learn Torah and have questions, that want to talk about stuff that they can't have other people because of the world. So this is the Youth for Yah series. So today is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
So today is the first day. It's an 8-day thing where you eat absolutely no leaven, and you take all the leaven outside of your house the day prior to the Feast of Unleavened Bread. When it starts, you take all leaven out and you burn it, destroy it. You just get rid of it as the way of getting sin out of your house is what it's signifying.
So unleavened bread was a feast that they had when they were going out of Egypt. When Moshe, he was saving the people from Egypt, they ran out with unleavened bread. They didn't have time for their bread to rise, so they ran out with unleavened bread. So this is why we do it in a remembrance of as unleavened bread, as a remembrance that we were freed from Egypt as slaves. And so, yeah, tell us a little bit about cooking since you do a lot of cooking and stuff, so tell us how you cook unleavened bread.
So basically you just take flour, water, oil, and salt, and then you mix it up into a big dough ball, and then you take it, flatten it out, and fry it.
So that's pretty much all you have to do is make it's just basically a tortilla, basically what your unleavened bread is.
Right.
So unleavened bread is a feast day. Today is known as a high Shabbat. It is a feast day. It is a day we are allowed to cook and eat. We're supposed to be feasting. It's not like a Shabbat where you do no work or you're not allowed to cook. You cook the day prior. No, you cook today because it is a feast day. And so, what is the Feast of Unleavened Bread? How do you celebrate that day, Elf?
We rest and we cook and we feast.
So how do you feast? What are some foods that you would eat on unleavened bread?
Well, you would have absolutely no regular bread, only bread without leaven.
Right.
And you would have basically like normal things that you would eat for a feast.
Okay. So what are something you would like to eat on a day of unleavened bread?
You could make like unleavened bread with you could make tacos, or you could make scrambled eggs and tortillas, burritos, things kind of like that. Or it doesn't really even have to have unleavened bread. Unleavened bread could be the side dish. Could have lots of different things.
Okay. And so the Feast of Unleavened Bread will go for 8 days. It'll be, I believe, 8 days, so it's 7 days. And we have an 8th day, which is another high Shabbat, which will be another feast day.
Correct.
So we'll have another day.
But this year it lands upon a Shabbat, so we will not be able to cook on it.
Right. So you won't be able to cook because it lands on a Shabbat. So you'll have to cook all your unleavened bread the day before. So this is an 8-day thing, and this is all week long. You're not allowed to have any leaven, no leavening agents, nothing. You're supposed to eat unleavened bread all week long. It's just 1 week straight of a remembrance that we were freed from Egypt, but we didn't have time to remember our bread to rise.
Right. So basically what it was when they were running out of Egypt, they had made their bread, but they didn't have enough time to let it rise as they were running out of Egypt, escaping.
Right. And so, what comes before? What do we do before the Feast of
We
Unleavened
do the Pesach, or the Passover.
So the Passover is there's a few things that symbolize the Passover. Most people know it as Yehoshua. You talk to Christians or somebody like that, they will know it as the Passover, as Yehoshua dying for us for our sins. But it was originally the Passover was because of the people in Egypt. When they were told to kill a lamb and slaughter it, they were told to put blood on their door so that the angel of death, this angel would come by and did not kill any of the people of Israel. And so they put the blood of the lamb on their doorposts. And if they did not put the blood of the door on their doorposts, they did not have it at that time when the angel came passing by, the firstborn in that house would die. And so Egypt, a whole bunch of their people died. Even Pharaoh's firstborn son died because they did not have blood on their doorposts. And so the Pharaoh told them to leave the land, and that the next day is unleavened bread when they ran out from Egypt without the leavened bread. So tell us a little about Passover and doing the lamb. Tell us about the lamb and stuff like that.
So you slaughter the lamb, and then you cook it right at sunset. You start your fire right before sunset, and then you put it in right at sunset, and then you cook it.
If it lands on Shabbat.
If it lands on Shabbat.
If it lands on Shabbat, right. Right. So this Passover this year landed on a Shabbat. So we had to start our fire before Shabbat started, so that we could eat it before Shabbat. Because if we didn't, we'd be breaking the Torah by starting and kindling fires on Shabbat. And we can't cook on Shabbat either, so we had to have it pre-cooking before Shabbat landed.
And then you're supposed to, when you eat the lamb, you're supposed to have your belt girded, you're supposed to have your staff in your hand, and you're supposed to have it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs when you eat it.
Right. And you're supposed to have your sandals on and eat it in haste, because these people were eating it fast. They were getting ready to leave at this point. Alright, so we're going to talk a little more about Passover. So Passover, for those people who can't get a lamb, what we do is we go buy a piece of lamb, because it's very hard to find an animal lamb that is 10 days old, bring it to our house and kill it, because we couldn't really bring it to our house with what we are. We have 10 dogs, so our dogs would kill the lamb before we got to kill it. And so we can't do that. So we have to we buy a piece of lamb, and we can't kill it ourselves. The bones do end up broken, so we're doing the best we can with lamb. For those who celebrate Passover, I don't know how you guys do it, but if you guys like to tell us in the comments down below. And we're also going to be doing a Bible study. Every time we do this, we're going to go over Proverbs, since that's a great thing for young people. Is Proverbs. It helps you mature, helps you with wisdom and understanding. It is a very great thing to know. So, Eli, tell me a little about Proverbs. How has Proverbs helped you?
It gives you lots of wisdom on things that you should and you shouldn't do, like how you should obey your parents and do things that are correct and not go on the wrong path.
Most Proverbs were written by Solomon, who was the wisest man, it said, in all the Bible, because he asked for wisdom from Yahuwah instead of asking for money or anything like that. The world, he said, please give me wisdom. So he gave him wisdom. And so this is from the wisest guy in the world. We should take it to heart and understand this. So we are going to go over to our Bible here, and we're going to read Proverbs 1. So read half, and I'll read the other half.
Alright. The Proverbs of Shalomah, the son of David, king of Yasharel. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear, and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of your father, and forsake not the Torah of your mother.
Alright, so it says, forsake not the Torah of your mother, and it says, follow the instruction of your father. So we do not want to walk away from that. And Solomon knows it's very important not to walk away from this, because if your parents are teaching you the Torah and their instructions are good, you don't want to walk away from that, because if you walk away from that, you are committing sin. You are becoming an evil person. Your heart is becoming dark. So you don't want to walk away from the Torah. You want to walk into the Torah. The Torah is life, and it guides you. It keeps you on a straight and narrow path so that you have a chance to enter the kingdom. Because if you break these commands and you become an evil person, your heart is dark, and you fall off the narrow path. It says the path is narrow and the broad is the way that leads to destruction. So if you fall off the path, you do not make it. So guys, stay in the Torah. Follow the Torah of your mother and the instruction of your father. Because if they are teaching you the Torah, this is the right way to go. And my parents teach me the Torah, and I hope your parents are teaching you the Torah.
For they shall be an ornament of grace unto your head, and chains about your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, consent not.
Okay, that's very important. Solomon knows what he's talking about here, because he did end up falling into this with sinners. With the women he married, he ended up sinning and falling astray from the Torah. And now sinning, if you guys read the Bible, you know the Gospels, and you know the Torah, you'll know that sinning is breaking the Torah. And breaking the Torah leads to very many curses. And so if someone of the world comes to you and says, hey, let's go sin, let's go do something evil, you'll know because they're very worldly and know what they say and how they what they want to do. You'll know that they are wicked people, and do not go with them. Do not do what the sinner says. They are worldly people. If you are of Yahuwah, you are not a worldly person. But if you do as the world does and you act like the world is, and you cannot serve two masters, you will serve the world. So do not follow sinners. Do not do what they want you to do. Do not do as the world does, because if you do, you become a sinner and you become just as bad as they are.
If they say, "Come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us work privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as Sheol, and whole as those that go down into the pit."
That's what the world wants you to do. The sinners of the world of people always want to bring other people that are trying to do good. They want to try to bring them to do sin and do evil. They want them to hurt other people. They want them to fall into sin and do what the devil wants to do, what Hasatan has guided everyone to do. That is what he wants them to do. He wants them to fall off the narrow path, and so he will send people of the world to be like, hey, I want to be your friend, I want to do this, and you'll fall off the narrow path hanging out with those evil friends.
We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our house with spoil. Cast in your lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not in the way with them. Refrain your foot from their path. For their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood.
All right. So I'm going to start reading. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which takes away the life of the owners thereof. And so it says you kill your own, you take your own life. You wait and lurk for your own life when you are greedy. So when you're greedy for your gain, you end up taking your own life, because greed will end up getting you killed. Yeah, wisdom cries without, she utters her voice in the streets. She cries in the chief place of concourse. In the openings of the gates in the city she utters her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and the fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my ruach unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear comes. When your fear comes as desolation, and your destruction comes as whirlwind, when distress and anguish comes upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear Yahuwah. So he's saying here that you will die, you will be punished, you will be destroyed, you will be like desolate. And he says this is because you hated knowledge and did not fear Yahuwah. And if you do not fear Yahuwah, that is the beginning of knowledge, is the reverence of Yahuwah. And if you do not fear Yahuwah, then you do not have knowledge, and you hate these reproofs, you hate Proverbs, you hate the Torah, you hate the right way to go. So if you do not fear Yahuwah, if you hate reproof, you will end up down this path of destruction and anguish, and you will call out, and you will not be heard. You will end up being destroyed because of what you have done. They would none of my counsel, they despise all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkens unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. So guys, do not hate reproof. If you guys hate reproof, you will end up being cursed. You'll end up on a bad path. And if you do not fear Yahuwah, that is where things will go very wrong. Because if you do not fear Yahuwah, you will not do his Torah, you will not serve him, you will not do what he tells you to do. Because you fear someone, you will obey them, you will want to do what they tell you, because he is our Father and he loves us and gave us a Torah for a reason, so that we can live. Alright guys, so we also have a new Telegram group for you guys. If you guys want to join us, you can join us at t.me/Yahuwah and the Torah Youth. And you can find us on Telegram for all the youth who want to talk. And we're gonna have a little group now. So if you guys want to talk and chat with us, or just say anything, say hi, or you have questions. If you guys have prayer requests, you can also leave it in the comments, or you can join the Telegram group and we can pray with you there. Guys, I hope you guys have a blessed day. And for those who are all the youth, I ask that you guys will stay in the Torah and listen. If your parents are teaching you Torah, that you will follow Torah and that you will do as they say. All right, shalom.
Shalom.